Hi, I'm Sarah, homeschooling mom of 4. We're going on our 9th year this year. I wanted to share what we'll be doing for science. First, I want to share Exploring Creation with chemistry and physics. This is the newest version. I'll be buying the lab kit, but in lieu of the notebooks, we tried the notebooks last year with botany, and I wasn't a huge fan. I know a lot of people are huge fans, and that's totally fine. If they work for you, then more power to you. They didn't work for us, so we are going to be using these notebooks instead. These lay flat, and there's a 5x5 graph paper on them, and then they'll be able to, like for the younger kids, they'll be able to draw a picture and maybe write 1 or 2 sentences about what they learned, what they thought was pertinent to that day's lesson. And then the lab experiments and things like that. They'll write those in there and then their findings and all of that. So I bought this book secondhand at eBay, and I got that for about $26. So I know they're selling them now on Christian Books and Apologia. They're having a sale on both of those websites, but the retail price is $55. If you can find it for cheaper, like on eBay, then I would totally do that. And you can usually, those kind of books. For my 8th grader, we will be using physical science, and that is chemistry and physics, an intro to that. So he'll be getting high school credit for this science, this physical science. So it's for 8th and 9th graders. I was trying to find a notebook for him just because he will be getting high school credit. But after looking at Apologia, they don't sell the 3rd edition anymore. And actually from Apologia, the notebook isn't required. So I felt comfortable not having to worry about trying to find the notebook. We're just gonna use one of these notebooks. And obviously it'll be more advanced. He'll be putting his actual notes for the physical science in a separate notebook, but then this will have like the final findings, the lab reports, things like that. And then a lot of lesson nuggets and things like that in this book, in that notebook. So I found this secondhand on eBay. I think I paid $22 for it. So the older editions of things a lot doesn't change that much, the important stuff. So what I found for the new Apologia 4th edition, it has more creation links, and it has advanced, like if you wanted to have any advanced concepts, if you wanted to make it more rigorous, then that is, you should buy the newest edition. But I graduated college with a lot of secondhand books, older editions, because the newer editions were hundreds of dollars, and where I could find the older version or a year or 2 older on thrift books or eBay for a lot less money, sometimes dollars. So, and I graduated with a high GPA with older editions. So I promise you it will be fine. It will be perfect. It still works. And so don't sleep on eBay or thrift books. You can get a lot of good deals, save a couple bucks. So you could go out and buy, fancier notebooks, things like that. So here is a look at the physical science. I have my little terms labeled and my supply list. Because even when you buy the lab kit, you're still going to need to add a little bit of supplies. So like I said, this still has the 15 modules. He's super excited about that. I believe this version came out in 2020. So, they do recommend a prerequisite for that is 7th grade math. And so he's finishing up a pre-algebra for the coming year. And it's technically considered an honors pre-algebra, I believe, according to Schwarman. Anyways, so it'll be fine. It's pretty smart little dude. So that's the inside of that. Here's a look at Exploring Creation with chemistry and physics. And like I said, this one came out in 2025, last year. And so that will be fun. The experiments will probably be super fun. for kids. See, there's just a couple of writing, underlines, things like that, but other than that. And then in this book, they have the answer key. They ask questions at the end of each lesson, and they'll have an answer key. And then there's the supply list. Even though we'll have the kit, we'll still need to add some supplies from home. And then I bought these journals for in lieu of the notebooks. And these kind of lay flat, so they're a little bit better than the composition notebooks you would get at Target, just because they kind of lay flat. You know how annoying that can be when stuff doesn't lay flat. So they'll be able to write their little nuggets and then their image that they want to do. And that's it. So I hope that was helpful, and happy shopping. So Exploring Creation, and this is for K through 6th grade. So this will be perfect for my 1st grader, for my 4th grader, and for my 6th grader, okay? And then there's Physical Science. This is for 8th and 9th grade, and this will be perfect for my 8th grader, and we'll be able to get high school credit with that. And then notebooks for all the important nuggets and the lab reports. So happy shopping. eBay, thrift books, they're great resources. I use them all the time. I bought part of a math program on there. I'm waiting to see what, I'm probably gonna have to buy it new. I just kind of wanted to see if it was mislabeled or something like that. So don't be afraid to buy an older edition. It's really not that different, and it will still work in most cases. So have a great day.